Commissioner Wolthius?
Notice he's not here, so we'll start at 6:36.
So on the, Pledge of Allegiance. Yes.
We got to get back to our normal order.
Yeah. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My apologies. I'm human.
It happens.
Okay,
We'll do the roll call.
we'll
To
do a
start
roll
out.
call. Angela?
Commissioner Wood?
Here.
Commissioner Melcher?
Here.
Commissioner Wolthius?
Here.
Commissioner Branson? And Commissioner Parker and Commissioner Journey did let me know they would be absent tonight. So we do now have a quorum.
So, just following the outline, this is an opportunity for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on topics that are not listed on the agenda, and we don't have anybody here. So the meeting minutes, are there any corrections from our last meeting?
I would make a motion to approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes of February 2nd, 2023 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as they are written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, so we'll spend probably the rest of our evening with a housing needs analysis report, which is a continuation. And we'll turn the time over to you, Blair.
So just to fill everyone in and where we are with this, we're at the tail end of our housing needs assessment, and that project is just about completed. Tonight we were planning, and we noticed it as the final meeting of the Planning Commission on this subject, with the intended result being recommending a motion to recommend it for adoption by the City Council. However, after we noticed it in discussions with the state, with DLCD, our DLCD rep, Patrick Wingard, is here with us tonight. There's some concerns that DLCD has about the work thus far and where things stand, and they are requesting some additional time to review and to have some adjustments made. And Patrick Wingard is here to kind of go over some of the inadequacies that they see, and so with his comments, I'll turn it over to him in a minute, but we're just requesting that this item be continued to a month from now, to the March 16th Planning Commission meeting. And now I'll turn it over to Patrick Wingard, who is here via Microsoft Teams, and he can describe to us kind of what DLCD's thoughts are at this time.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Blair. Members of the Sweet Home Planning Commission, I'm Patrick Wingard with the Department of Land Conservation Development. Thanks for giving me a little bit of time this evening, and Blair and Angela, thank you for your time over the past couple of weeks, kind of working through a couple of issues. You're very close. Nothing that we have concerns on are really going to be very difficult to address. When, as is typical fashion, pursuant to Oregon's statewide planning program, anytime a city proposes to amend either its zoning code, zoning ordinance development code, or its comprehensive plan, requires notice to the department. This is the manner in which we ensure that these state acknowledged plans continue to be consistent with the framework of the statewide planning goals. So I was mentioning before you entered, Commissioner, that this, as you know, the legislature, our commission, the Land Conservation Development Commission, have been very busy attempting to address our severe housing crisis. And so with that, there have been some new laws and statutes and rules and a whole bunch of stuff that cities, especially those over 10,000 population, have to do. Now, I will tell you that we've been very successful in getting grant funding from the legislature. In fact, it looks like going into this next biennium, we will also have a commensurate amount of grants, maybe even more, to provide pass-through funding. Every dollar for every $5 that our department receives from the legislature, one of those dollars, 20% of our budget is just passed through to local governments for grants. So Blair, your staff have been fantastic to work with. You know, it really is a partnership to try to figure out this housing crunch that we're in. So our concerns really centered on a couple of policies that were kind of carried over from your previous comprehensive plan. They were pretty clearly kind of out of date. I mean, we are keeping the consultants pretty busy, and I think it was just a couple of oversights on their part, where the changes in state law have made a couple of the proposed policies that are carryovers from your previous plan really moot or outmoded. So didn't really want to see the city adopt something that really didn't have relevance today. You know, it might have been important in the 1990s or 2000s, but today, you know, when you all adopt something, we really want it to be contemporary. And so there were a couple references to old building permits from trends from the 90s and 2000s. So I just asked Blair, got together with the consultant, if they wouldn't mind just kind of cleaning up that, just so that it's a better product. That's really the bulk of it. Looking at my notes. I guess the other thing I would say, and this is really on behalf of the entire housing team, downstream of this housing needs assessment or the housing capacity analysis as it's being reframed under our new housing rules, every city in Oregon is going to have to provide a housing production strategy. And the governor's proposed budget includes a new housing team that's going to work with communities to ensure that they have funding and the resources, whether it's for infrastructure or roads or the actual building permits themselves and the capacity to manage the permits or the building code and or planning divisions, that we have the ability to augment what you all are doing with either technical or, more importantly, financial assistance. So we feel like we're pretty good going into this next biennium, but you know, we never know until the budget has been signed. But we fully expect to have money to pass through to you all to take on this additional work that is now, you know, but for this money from the legislature would be an unfunded mandate to you all. And of course, we don't like that. And then we know you don't either. Blair, I guess the last thing I would say is it's just a general comment, you know, in regard to that housing production strategy. There were a couple spots in that housing needs assessment that's proposed for adoption where we felt like it relied upon historic trends. You know, there's references to 88% of the homes in Sweet Home being single family detached. And anyway, you know, that's true. And then there's reference to the city has adequate land over the next 20 years to continue that trend, to continue building in that manner. But when you look at the housing needs assessment, you can see that 54% of folks in Sweet Home are rent burdened. Your renters are. That single family detached homes are largely out of reach for many of our residents. So, you know, we're just asking not to make any like specific changes to the housing needs assessment, but rather ensure that there aren't any proposed housing policies that would be adopted that would box you in this next round of housing production strategies. And you have a couple of policies that demand maximum densities in your low density residential zone, in your medium density residential zone, and that could be problematic. Baking or building density standards into your comprehensive plan really short arms your staff and you all from being able to do variances or have flexibility around those development standards because it's in the comprehensive plan. So that's probably the part that gave me the most heartburn. but you've got very good staff, and Blair, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're going to be able to get on the same page on this stuff fairly easily. I don't think there's a huge gap between, and it really is kind of like a general holistic conversation I'm having here. We just would like to see you all take these steps so that in this next step, this housing production strategy, we won't have to go back into the comprehensive plan and try to fix something or tweak something because it's limiting the city's ability potentially to meet this new standard. I'll stop there. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, and on that note, I agree, Patrick. A lot of it is a holdover from the previous comprehensive plan. And what's interesting to me is that we've actually already updated a lot. Well, as you know, we've got a completely brand new development code. And much of these things are all addressed in the new development code, but we just need the comprehensive plan to kind of be updated to match that. And these are some areas that didn't really get looked at as closely as they should have, to have them be updated and be more in line. Because when it comes to density, we have all those rules in place in our development code. There's minimum lot sizes, there's setbacks, et cetera, that all point to what we've talked about, and there's really not a need for the comprehensive plan to go in to have a completely different standard, especially when it potentially conflicts with both state law and what we just talked about and adopted with the development code. So we do want to get those things all in line. And also, I believe I spoke with the consultants about kind of updating some of the population numbers, which I think will really help also. That's something that I'm looking forward to, because we are already past the numbers they had for 2025. And when we're trying to point out the need for housing in the community and the market that there is here, we want to make sure that our documents show and can give builders some confidence that there is definitely a market for these homes that we want them to build. And so that update will be helpful also. Any questions from the commission?
I don't have any, do you?
I do not.
So staff would appreciate then a motion to continue this item to the March 16th meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion to continue this meeting to the March 15th
16th.
meeting. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Sure glad to have you girls on the
You're on the end for you.
move. We have a motion and a second. We will continue this meeting to the March 15th meeting.
16th.
March 16th.
Yes.
And just probably making some information known. I know the meeting can go on without me, but I'm supposed to get a new hip on the 15th. So
Ooh.
Yeah.
I probably will not be here.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Can I get a vote of yays and nays for record also?
Angela, I did not hear what you said.
There's a motion and a second. We just need the vote.
We'll do that. Take a vote.
Voting yay? All those voting yay?
Yep.
Yay.
Yay.
Yes.
And no nays. All right, that's what I needed. So vote passes. We will continue till the 16th, March 16th at 6:30. Okay.
Sounds good.
All
Thank
right.
you, Patrick, for being here.
Thank you,
and,
Patrick.
for looking at that and taking care of, making sure that it was taken care of before we send it off to the city council.
Oh, you bet. Thank you guys for your understanding on these changes kind of at the 11th hour. Appreciate it.
Nothing would be worse than going through the whole process and then realizing that we made it really difficult for us to follow through with what we wanted. So
Yeah, you're pretty close. Like we said, there's just a couple things in there that they're kind of wonky that should get ironed out. But yeah, thanks so much for your time. I'll just Blair, or if anybody has any questions, I'll just go ahead and log off.
All right. Thank you very much, Patrick.
Okay, have a great evening, guys.
So we would open up to any staff updates.
All right, just real quick, March 2nd, we will be doing the training. I will make sure to send out a reminder that we'll be starting the meeting at 6 o'clock instead of 6:30. I will be by myself, so I will be getting together with Blair to kind of help me walk through a little bit and make sure that everything goes swimmingly and I cover everything. So you'll have to be patient with me. The 16th, we will do the housing needs analysis, but we also have a conditional use for Lynn County RV waste site that will be coming in front of the board or the commission. Those will both be that evening. The mobile food units, I keep wanting to say manufactured home, I don't know why, is going through council right now. They did the first reading and they have two more.
Yep.
The Redwood Street right-of-way vacation is pending. We are waiting for the surveyed plans, and once the plans are surveyed, then it can finish the process through the commission or the council and the ordinance.
Yeah.
Get the ordinance adopted. And then I'm hoping to have the first round of code amendments to you all by April. I finally just made a cutoff line, and I'm not going to look at any more and for this one. And if I find any more, I will put it on a future one. So my goal is to bring those to you in April. So
Okay.
That is all I have on my end.
I don't have anything really. Well, the TSP is moving forward, but I don't really have any real updates on that. It's just in process. Just by way of information, we are wrapping up our request for proposals process for our Parks Master Plan update. And so I'm in negotiations now with a firm to do that work, and the contract will probably be on the March, the agenda of the March 14th City Council meeting. So that's moving forward, and that's about all we've got.
Will we have a planning commissioner sitting on that update also for the parks?
There will be some. It'll center on the Park and Tree Committee, but there'll be those are public meetings, and
Okay.
and you're certainly welcome to attend, and we'll keep you aware of the various events that are going on with that. That's a 9-month to a year process to kind of plan out park improvements. And so there isn't one specifically for the Planning Commission, but between Park and Tree and some public events that we'll have and the City Council, there's definitely opportunities to chime in.
Okay. I was just kind of, sorry.
Oh, you were.
I'm good. I'm just kind of thinking what we want to do with that downtown area on 13th. Would that be included in that as some type of public gathering park?
It's if it was designated as parkland and city owned, then sure.
Okay.
The trick with the downtown area is there's limited areas that are city owned. We
Okay.
basically have the old City Hall building and the parking lot that's in front of it,
Mhm.
and then the library. But there's potential for something there. So far, that's all been just theoretical,
Okay.
and nothing's been
Yeah.
designated yet.
Okay.
We talked about events, and I guess I could bring it up. I'll bring it up as it gets a little bit closer. We are going to have an Arbor Day event. The Park and Tree Committee helps put that on Saturday, April 15th. It's going to be at Northside Park. We have a brand new dog park there, so we will be highlighting the dog park. They'll be handing out plants and shrubs for free. We're going to let everybody do a self-tour, open up the racquetball court, open up, so just kind of reintroduce people to Northside Park, but then kind of show off some of the other amenities of the park. So just keep that. We'll be putting out an ad and flyers and Facebook, the Sweet Home Facebook page. So we'll be putting that out, but just as some events, that'll be a good one to kind of come look at the park. It's been a while. So
That's about all we've got.
all right.
Well, come 5 minutes late, we can quit 5 minutes early.
Let's do it.
Sounds good.
Again, I sincerely apologize. Nothing else tonight. We'll conclude the meeting at 6:55.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.